So every day, parents are looking for more guidance when it comes to going back to school. And late last night, the school district went ahead and made an announcement and a big decision for now. Anyway, we know how things change. Matt Howerton has the details on when students can go back to the classroom.
Well, good morning to you. Parents, teachers, staff, they've all been wondering what's the plan DISD? Well, now we have an answer. Take a look for yourself. Board members decided Thursday night to push back the start of school from August 17th to September the 8th. And parents now have until August 25th to inform the district whether or not their student will be learning in person or online. There was a lot of debate about this, several hours, and it's all because County Judge Clay Jenkins has ruled that in-person schooling can't begin until at least the 8th. So that's why this was done. Now here's what parents need to know. The district has released these images and a playbook about how it's going to keep kids safe in class with face masks, shields, plexiglass. But on the 8th, if COVID cases haven't gotten better, Superintendent Michael Hinojosa can make an executive decision to fully place kids online. That decision can stand for 4 total weeks, and then if COVID cases aren't decreasing, the board can decide to make classes fully virtual for another 4 weeks. Essentially, there could be online classes into early November. All of this without impacting state funding. We asked Dr. Hinojosa, what will the 8th look like, fully online or blended? He hopes for the latter.
Right now, we're going to plan to see if we can have both in person and virtual, but we're going to let the science dictate that.
Now, before board members voted, there was public comment and a slew of teachers expressed their concerns with sending kids straight back to class and encouraged the board to fully embrace online learning. Some of those teachers even expressing concern for their own health if they had to go back to class. Dr. Hinojosa told us that teachers can request to fully do their classes online, but they have to make that request with their principal. At Dallas ISD, I'm Matt Howerton.
All right, 6:37 now. Here's a look at some of the other top stories surrounding COVID-19. As airlines take a hard hit financially, American is trying to regain customers' confidence. So here are some ways your travel experience, they say, would be different if you fly American. Of course, face masks are required. The airline will begin notifying customers when their flights are full. A customer who finds a less crowded flight can switch the reservation at no extra cost. More testing options are heading to Dallas. Mayor Eric Johnson announcing CVS will expand its capacity and add 7 new sites today. President Trump canceled the Florida portion of the GOP convention because of coronavirus. He moved it to Jacksonville because of COVID-19 restrictions at the previous site in Charlotte, North Carolina.